Alright guys, welcome back to Project GoodSpeed. I'm Jay, and this is little Civic here, and things have not been going that great for my hatchback here.
What the heck is that? I'm pretty sure that's not normal. Is that? Oh no, that's part of the engine. I'm pretty sure, yeah, look at that. It's definitely stripped the head. Well, time to get a new engine. I'm just kidding. You guys gotta subscribe and, like, so I can buy a D series. Oh, B series. What am I saying? K series. No, I prefer B series. Because on today's video, I'm gonna show you guys how I remove my head, well, how I'm gonna remove my head off of the engine block here. So let's get into it. So the Civic has had a little bit of an issue with an exhaust leak that I have been trying to solve for a couple weeks now. This car's trying to kill me. But to be honest, here in California, the winter season is starting to set in and I'm getting kind of lazy. It's barely 4 o'clock and the sun's going down. Yep. It's that lazy time of year. Little backstory here. The Civic here has had a little bit of an exhaust leak for quite a while, and I've been trying to fix it here and there. I've tried using some DIY gasket sealant to fix up my busted seals. Definitely have some squishy factor. And I tried replacing them with new seals. I tried replacing the donut gasket seals with used ones and new ones. And I tried realigning the entire exhaust to get everything to fit right. I even had to re-weld my cat because that one was like crooked. It was like this instead of straight. The alignment was all messed up, so I had to take that to a shop to get it re-welded, put everything back together, and it still had a leak. And for reference, I'm basically just running a pretty much stock engine with a Yornaka 2.5-inch catback exhaust and some DC Sport headers that I bought off of Facebook Marketplace. I took it to a shop, had them check it out because I couldn't figure out where the leak was coming. I basically just hooked the entire exhaust system from the muffler side over there in the rear, plugged it up with a vacuum, blew air into it. Moment of truth. And just used some soapy water to figure out where the leak was coming from. And by the end, I couldn't figure out where it was coming out, but it was definitely still coming out. So I just took it to a shop and had them figure it out. And it turns out that the issue was with my headers here. So when I went to the shop, they actually explained it to me, right? They said that all of these header bolts were loose. They went ahead and tightened them all up, which, well, it's pretty simple enough. And I was like, okay, that'll be it. However, when they got to one of these bolts, they said this one here does not belong. Show you guys a close-up here. OEM, and that one is just, totally out of place. It looks almost the same, but it's not. It's 1 millimeter bigger. And at the same time, that it just keeps spinning. And trust me guys, I've been at this for a while. It doesn't get any tighter, all right? I'm guessing this one was loose, and over the years, all of these just eventually came loose. And either way, this is not something to overlook because I won't know if it comes loose again. So the way I see it, I have 3 options. Well, 4, but I'm not selling the Civic. So one is like I said, I can tighten all of them back up and just leave it like that and hope that they don't come loose again, just because that one doesn't belong, but I'm not gonna risk that. Or 2, I can actually remove the header, remove the head, and take the head to a machine shop to get that one fixed if it is indeed stripped. Or 3, I can just replace the head altogether, and those last 2 are probably going to cost about the same. So I actually don't know what I'm going to do just yet, but one thing's for sure, I got to remove the header, and ultimately I'm probably going to have to remove the head altogether. Great. Just when I'm trying to get some real upgrades, something like this happens. Now that we're all caught up, the head pretty much has to come off so I can either get it machined or replaced. But before I move the head, first things first, I'm gonna take off these headers and we're actually gonna inspect that bolt. Now, one thing I do wanna say about these stupid bolts is you do wanna be careful. I have gotten some pretty reliable information that they tend to snap off. Fuck my life. Check it out. I removed the whole thing and then this freaking exhaust bolt snapped off again. That one snapped, and then later on, this one snapped, and now they're fucking both stuck in there, and I have the same exact issue. Well, the similar issue now than my stock head. So I'm not even gonna bother. Fuck it, it's pointless. Just be extra careful. Don't, force anything. And when in doubt, just drown it in, lubricant. Hopefully it doesn't happen in this case, and I don't have to worry about it, but they are pretty stubborn. Look at that. Whew. Last thing you want to do is actually just break this bolt and leave half of it in the head, because then you're really screwed. Oh, look at my hands, all dirty. Now it's time to get the one that doesn't belong. Come on. What the heck is that? I'm pretty sure that's not normal. Is that? Oh no, that's part of the engine. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Look at that. It's definitely stripped the head. Well, time to get a new engine. I'm just kidding. You guys gotta subscribe and like so I can buy a D series. Oh, B series. What am I saying? K series. No, I prefer B series. 300,000 miles on this little Civic. And the only reason I gotta get a new engine is because I stripped the bolt. Let's go ahead and remove the other bolts, because I actually have to remove the bracket that I actually installed because I thought that might help with this thing that I didn't have before. And then I have to detach the bracket that attaches to the bottom of the header to that bracket, as well as some of the bolts that hold the header to the donut gasket that attaches to the cat. So go ahead and take those off and we can remove the header. So I've disconnected the brackets and I've disconnected the O2 sensor. Yep, this is the extension. This has to come off too, I would think. Yeah, I don't have any clearance to actually remove this from the bottom or the top. I'm just gonna leave it hanging. Just leave it on the floor there. Can you guys see? It's pretty stripped. Oh, well, damn it. The gasket itself, pretty brittle. That will have to be replaced. Now, I do want to mention I am a little bit of an expert. I have removed a total of 1.5 heads from engines. I just went to the junkyard and just started pulling stuff. I was like, okay, it can't be that hard. It's a Honda. If there was ever a car that would be forgiving in mistakes, it's definitely going to be a Honda. So I'm going to go ahead and give it another shot because, like I said, I've only removed 1.5. I gave up on the second one because, well, it wasn't worth it. So anyway, I'm going to start by draining the coolant here. And you want to make sure that the cap is open so that the liquid rushes out. Now for my Mishimoto radiator here, it's a 19mm socket. There we go. Hopefully it doesn't shoot out too far. I hate cleaning up messes. Oh, damn it. I knew it. Where'd it go? Ah. Oh, that was just useless. Oh yeah, it's that easy. No one ever tells you it just, shoots out. Why do I say these things? I always forget how much coolant actually, shoots out. But once you're done cleaning up any spills, I went ahead and just disconnected the battery because when I remove the head, it might rush, like the coolant that's still in there might rush out and damage anything. So now, like I said, the next step is just to remove the spark plug wires and the spark plugs as well. I'll show you guys why later on. Now I gotta do this because later on I'm gonna turn the crankshaft, and with the spark plugs in there, there is a vacuum in the cylinder, as I understand it, and turning the crankshaft against that vacuum is gonna be pretty tough. Now we are free to remove the distributor, but before I even, touch it, we're gonna go ahead and mark it up so that I know exactly where the timing is when I go ahead to reinstall it. Now, like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna be reusing this head or getting a new one. Either way, if I mark around the perimeter of the bracket here, I should be able to line it up with the new head if I do decide to change it.
Now, I've replaced the distributor on this Honda a couple times. The little forks that are inside the distributor align up with the camshaft pretty accurately. I mean, that's how you adjust the timing. You can adjust it here and there. I haven't had any issues. Like I said, this Honda is very forgiving. But if I ever do decide that I didn't do it right, I could just take it to a shop and they could fix it. Actually, I think I'm gonna hold off on removing the distributor just for now because I'm not sure once I turn the crankshaft over to get the first cylinder to top dead center, I'm not sure if the little forks that are inside the distributor here are orientation specific, meaning I don't know if one side is different than the other or if they're both identical. If they're both identical, no problem, but I don't know if they are. So I'm gonna wait to take them off until later. But for now, I'm gonna move on to removing the manifolds. And like I showed you guys, the exhaust manifold I've already taken off. Pretty simple. It's just a few brackets and a few bolts at the back. Now for the intake manifold, it's just these 12mm bolts here, and I think there's 7 of them. 2 here, 2 here, 1 in the middle, and then 1 on each side. Now all of these are pretty straightforward and easy to remove because they're clearly visible, so you shouldn't have an issue. I haven't had an issue of them snapping like this one's over here, but this one has always been annoying. It's right down there in the middle. Yeah, this one's very weird just because it's a weird angle and you have to start from way over here, flush to the fuel rail, and do a 1/8 of a turn. Okay, it should just come loose and just rest. What is that water? More cleaning. I think it's a good idea to disconnect the intake here just to let the manifold move a little bit more. And just like that, I've cleared all the bolts, and that gasket from here looks dirty and disgusting. What do you guys think? Does that look good? I'm no Professor Oak here, but that doesn't look that great. So now I'm going to remove these hoses, and we're going to go ahead and remove the valve cover as well. Next step is I have to remove this cam gear cover because I need this out of the way so that I can check exactly where top dead center is. Up until now, all this stuff has been pretty simple and doesn't really need a whole lot of technique other than just removing some bolts. The technical part comes now, right? And that's removing these head bolts. This is the only part that is, manual specific, so just gotta check that out. Now, parts from the head bolts having to be removed in a very specific order and a specific way. The other technical issue is this camshaft here, or the cam gear. And it is these notches here. You can see right on the other side, they have to align with the flat sides of the head. And the gear here is also marked with the word up. So this part has to be up here, and these notches here have to be flush with the head. So I have to go into the driver's side wheel well and turn the crankshaft manually with a socket. Once I've exposed the bolt there, I have to actually manually turn this counterclockwise. Now, on this Civic, on this engine, it's a 17mm bolt, and it's D15B7. However, when I was at the junkyard trying out how to actually remove this stuff, one of them was actually a 19mm. So, I guess it's not exactly 100%. And I do want to mention, oh, that's a lot easier to turn than I thought. Yeah, at the junkyard, I had to use my foot for some of them because they were kind of seized up or something, but maybe because they were just been there for a while. But essentially, you just keep turning counterclockwise until you reach the top dead center. Okay, I'm gonna keep turning. Oh, that's pretty damn spot on, actually. Okay, like I said, I don't have much experience, but I'm gonna take my straight edge here, and you guys can see. Let me know. Do you guys think that's straight? Does that look like leveled up with that mark there? It looks pretty freaking spot on. I guess they outlined it there to make sure. Yep, so the up is at the top. This one's level, that one's level. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mark this little tooth there on the belt, that little tooth there, and the one, oh, it looks like it's a groove and not a tooth for the up. We'll go ahead. We are now free to remove the bolts. Now that I've rotated the crankshaft and placed the engine in top dead center location, I can now remove the distributor because, like I said, I wasn't sure if the cam in there was specific to the forks there, but I don't think it is, but just to be safe, I waited to remove the distributor till now. Ow! This is why I hate working in this little Honda engine bay. Ow! There we go. Yeah, see those forks there? They look to be the same, but you know, better safe than sorry. Let's go ahead and just set this aside and not worry about it anymore. Let me go ahead and remove this sensor here. There we go. There we go. Okay, now onto the head bolts. And specifically, I looked at the manual and it says that to remove these head bolts for the D15, B7, I think it's the same for D series as well, but it's first this one, then that one, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll put a quick little picture here of what the manual says to do in order to remove this thing. Wow, it's still bleeding. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be cracking each of the bolts without removing it all the way, but I'm going to go ahead and crack them all in that order so that the head slowly resurfaces little by little, as opposed to getting all of the first bolt out and then the next one and then the next one, because that way we keep things nice and even and release the pressure smooth. So I'm going to be using I think this is a 12-point socket, 14 millimeters, and at the same time might need a breaker bar because I had to use one at the junkyard in the form of an exhaust pipe because that's all I had. So we're going to go ahead and just see if I can crack this. Ow! Yep. It's not so easy. This sounds better. Quarter turn. Number 5. And number 6. And 7 here. And 8. 9. And 10. All right, and that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna keep doing that again and again, little by little, until I get them to release enough pressure so that I can remove them by hand. So it looks like I only had to do that twice, and on the third time, they pretty much come out by hand. And at this point, I'm really curious to see how this head gasket looks. I've actually had the head gasket replaced before, as well as the piston rings a few years back, because they blew on me. And it's been a couple years since then, so we're gonna see how well it actually lasted. I'm gonna use a drill for this last part. I don't feel like turning the whole thing by hand. Now they should just be able to come right out now. Ooh, look at that. Is that normal? Is that just oil? Tell me that's just oil. We'll look at that later. Well, they smell burnt. They definitely smell burnt. They got some gunk on them. That one definitely does. I have to clean these up, and as I recall, they should be soaked in oil before they are installed. So for this next part, I've removed all the bolts, and I don't know if this part is entirely, right, but I have to find a way to pry the engine off of the block because the head gasket has basically sealed itself in there. And I'm just gonna get a big ass screwdriver and just try to pry it from the edges without trying to break anything or pulling too much. There we go. Oh shoot, I forgot, that's the liquid. There's the coolant. And let's see if I can go ahead and just now pry off the timing belt. This is going to be a pain to, reinstall. There we go. There we go. Oh, there's that gasket. Whew. I wish I knew what I was looking at. All right, let me get a close up here for you guys. So I have no idea what I'm looking at here, but let's go ahead and take a look at it together. I cleaned it up a little bit from all the coolant that got in there. Obviously, there's still some coolant around the edges here. I don't know what I'm looking at. Like I said, if any of you guys in the comment section knows if this is normal, I don't know if it is or what that could indicate, but I'm going to clean it up and we'll worry about that if it causes an issue. Now, I don't see any like cracks or anything like that. Nothing major. I will have to find some way to clean this up when I figure out, how to install it. Or what I'm going to do for that matter. I don't know if I'm going to have to get the head machined or get a new one, but I definitely recommend one of these things, guys. I totally forgot I had this. Definitely useful for the coolant, because once you lift the head up, it all just rushes out and it is annoying. And I have it resting here on some 4x4s just to let the coolant, the oil drain. Most of it drained out already. Now this is the head gasket here, and it goes like this. This is the part that goes on the bottom block, and it doesn't look that bad. I'm going to reuse it, just throw it back on there, Just kidding. Everything, we're gonna get new gaskets for the little hatchback, and hopefully everything turns out okay, because this is the first time I've ever done something like this. I don't know if that bend in it was when I lifted it up, right? I might have pried it off and it was still stuck on the dowel here, right there. You can see the dowel is still located there, so I might have bent it pulling it out, but on this side I don't see any like cracking. Oh, now the other side. This side looks a little cracking there. But I'll figure out some way to clean this up, and I'll post that update in the next video when I get this head looked at by a machine shop, and hopefully the machine shop will be able to take care of something like this pretty easily. However, I have heard that they do take a while to actually, get this stuff done, because, they have other people there ahead of me, and, you get there when you get there, and it takes however long it takes. So hopefully they'll be able to get it done quickly. But until then, you guys leave comments down below. Let me know what you guys think I should do, because I don't know what I think I should do. I'm just going to feel my options out and see what's best. And hopefully, we get the Civic back up and running without it trying to kill me. So until next time, guys, take care and good speed.